Time to introduce ourselves.
Wait, is this recording too?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're good.
So we're good.
All right.
So now's the time to introduce ourselves. Ladies first.
But it says Stan first on the logo.
We'll talk about why it says Stan first after we introduce ourselves.
Okay. So I'm Shen, or Shenandoah Briere with the Daily Gazette.
And I'm Stan Hudy, also with the Daily Gazette. And we are the Stan and Shen Show.
That we are. And just to start off a little bit, so the Stan and Shen Show was a bit of a running gag between the two of us. I think it really started during Chocolate Fest in Boston Spa.
Yes, the famous Chocolate Fest, which check out Daily Gazette YouTube channel because there is some great heartbreaking video of Shen not getting chocolate, which is like the highlight of my life so far.
It was just the one chocolate item. And then there was a little bit of a...
But you sold it though.
Yeah, and there was some hot debate there between white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate, which I still question people on to this day. Yeah. But yeah, so it started off as a bit of a running gag following that just between the two of us. And then, as everyone knows, Belmont came up to Saratoga Springs this year. And Stan and I were set to cover it that day. And I think back then it was Mike Kelly who was still here with us. Really pushed us to be, more forward with a lot of the social media aspects that we were starting to pick up at the Gazette. And so it was kind of like... we didn't talk too much before that day about what exactly we were going to do, and then that day we just knew we were kind of going to go Facebook Live as much as possible, and this was for Belmont on Broadway, which happened a few days before the actual kickoff of the Belmont Stakes Festival.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's surprised that the amount of planning was, okay, so you and Shen are going to be there, and we need to do like 3 or 4 live Facebook hits to the Gazette Facebook page. And then, if you could write like 2 or 3 stories and take a whole photo gallery. And it was all well and good. Everything went perfectly fine until someone found a way to get us on the roof of the city center.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that part. That momentous moment there. So we were having a lot of fun throughout the day. I just want to back up for a minute. We were having a lot of fun throughout the day, and we were doing a lot of Facebook Lives, and people were really just, loving it. And at one point, we were kind of smushed into the crowd just before, they took Blues Traveler, the main act, took the stage, and I was right on the corner, just squished in with a bunch of other people, trying to go Facebook Live. And if you look back at that video, you'll be able to see why, we were having a little bit of technical difficulties because it was everybody had phones out. It was crazy, but at one point, we were able to finagle our way to the top of the city center, an experience we'll probably never get to have again. And it took a lot of, wrangling of some officials. So, it was great.
The wrangling was Shen walking up to a city official going, hey, do you think there's any chance we can get up on top of the city center? So I had previewed this trying to get inside like one of the windows, one of like the 3rd floor, but somehow you communicated it to get on top of the physical building. So to do that, it took several pieces of communications with law enforcement at several levels, and 3 ladders and 2 roof hatches, and I have a severe height phobia.
The
same, but I'm the one taking a photo from on top, and the one thing you got to realize when you get up on top of these roofs, they're not designed like to be standing there sightseeing. So the ledge, literally, for keeping you from falling 3 stories, is like this tall, and I am like totally flipping out. But made it happen, and like kind of like throughout that, like as we hit like the 5 o'clock hour, I think that's where the Stan and Shen Show kind of like picked up with us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, throughout the day, we definitely had a lot of Facebook Live videos, and this was really just the beginning of it because. If you go back and look, when Belmont really kicked off that first day of racing, we were also live at the track, right? As people were coming in, we did takes throughout the day. We did lots of photos, and I think what's been interesting is like that from having to do all of this stuff together, not only grew this sort of the Stan and Shen Show is what we call it, because when you put our 2 personalities together, it's a lot of fun at times, and it's a lot of learning to managing each other. and our personalities, Stan's going to point to me because, I'm, as I like to say, I'm the most socially not social person. Like, if you see me at home, I'm not really social, but then I get out there and I start doing stories, and I really like talking to folks, and that's not to say that Stan doesn't. He really does, but we bring sort of two perspectives, too, with Stan, who's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and so...
So, like, really, the moniker, the Stan and Shen Show, probably got solidified the first day of Belmont, because we rolled out of we got a couple hours sleep, and when we were there at the gate and the gate opened, all the people we saw from Blues Traveler and on Broadway and everything we did, like, oh, it's the Stan and Shen Show, it's the Stan and Shen Show. So, like, we might have dropped it like once or twice or whatever, kidding around on Facebook on that Wednesday.
Yeah, yep, it was a Wednesday.
And then that Thursday, it was like solidified because everybody we saw was like, oh, the Stan and Shen Show's back. The Stan and Shen Show's back. And that was like...
Remember Todd Shimkiss from the Saratoga County Chamber of Commerce actually specifically mentioned it to me while we were at the track. And
he created the monster.
Yeah, there were a couple other people who mentioned, like, oh, where's Stan? And so now, like, people, like, when we're out and about, will ask me, like, where's Stan? Or ask Stan, where's Shannon? And so, like, a lot of people have come to know us in that aspect. And so it's been quite fun, sort of just pushing this a little bit, but sort of turning to what we're doing now. And that is the Schenectady County Holiday Parade.
So let's back up to why my name goes first.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because you love to tell this story.
Age before beauty.
That's how it became the Stan and Shen Show. Was like, it kind of just worked that way. And somebody asked Shen, just in the office, like last week, why is Stan's name first instead of you? Because alphabetically you go before Stan. And so since, I've only mentioned it several times to the young lady to my right, age before beauty, that's our excuse now why it's the Stan and Shen Show. That's like the only reason why is it worked in the moment, and Todd blessed it, and
in all reality, it flows a little bit better too. I think if you did the Shen and Stan show, it doesn't have the same sort of ring and tone to it. The Stan and Shen Show, it's fun, it's fast to say, and if you say it too many times, it starts to sound a little weird.
And I wanted top billing because of our work and success. People saw it, people liked it. That then led to the invite.
From the county. From
Schenectady County to invite the Stan and Shen Show, the big budget production that it is, to be part of the 55th annual.
I thought it was the 53rd. We're not sure on the year, but we know it's been a long time.
We'll know it's Saturday. We'll know it's Saturday. We'll have it down. It's on the script.
We'll have our game together on Saturday. But I remember Andrew bringing this up because we were actually sitting in a newsroom meeting one Wednesday, and he brought up and he was like, oh yeah, they mentioned they might want you and Stan, and I was like, what? So, I was actually really surprised because I mean, as well as it did for Belmont, I didn't think like people had like taken it that serious to want us to do something like this, but a lot of people just loved our personalities together, and so, when we finally got to have some conversations and they told us what we would be doing, which we can tell you now is we will be the MCs on the first ever second stage, which is technically the first stage you pass in the parade, but it's not the grand stage over at Proctor's. So we'll be down on South Ferry Street, and we're doing the live stream of it this year, and bringing you all the fun that is with that. And that's not just your very typical announcement of like who's actually coming down the route. Stan's come up with some probably really horrendous Christmas dad jokes. We'll be talking a little bit about favorite holidays,
favorite holiday movies. I have, I think, the grand trivia question.
Okay.
So we have to go through what available swag we've got. We're trying to find, this is the best question I've got, so we want to find like the best possible winning gift that we can come up with. So it's one that I've stumped most of the office with, and very few people have gotten. So I'm excited to drop that.
I probably don't know the answer either.
No, you got it wrong. So we're, in a sense, we're like the opening act of the parade because they come by us first. We'll be across from Frog Alley. The crowd's going to be pretty deep. It's where the crowd kind of builds. If you've been to the Schenectady County
I'm
Holiday
expecting
Parade.
a large crowd that day just because, and this is something we've always done with the Stan and Shen Show. For some reason or another, I feel like sometimes I'm a weather woman. And I love to give people an idea of what they can expect to come down there, just because I also think if you know what the weather is like, you want to go somewhere. But it's supposed to be 47, no snow in sight, which I'm a little sad about. I kind of wanted maybe a dusting of snow for the parade, but small chance of rain at the moment. Anything can change over the next few days, though. But yeah, so I mean, it's supposed to be exceptionally nice out, probably a little bit colder at night, but a really good day for the parade, and so I'm expecting large crowds.
So as we know, the internet is known as the World Wide Web. So for Shannon, this is weather worry for wardrobe. So this entire time now, as we're heading into this, and the panic will increase as we get into closer to Saturday, is how many layers, what will Shannon be wearing, will the heater be on high on our feet, and will my feet melt? How many hand warmers does she have, and how many runs of coffee does Shen ask for as part of her rider during this? So how many times has the wardrobe changed?
None so far, actually, surprisingly. I mean, there's always a backup plan for the wardrobe,
which will be in her car less than a block away.
Yes, there's always a backup plan every single time. I'm probably more well prepared in the office than any other person. I actually just put rain boots in my car in case it rains this week, like on Thursday when there's 100% chance. There's rain boots in my car in case I need to switch shoes for some assignment.
I just don't change out from year to year because of what we do. So just real quick, so that's a little bit about the Stan and Shen Show. Just going back a little bit about us, in case you haven't caught the Stan and Shen Show, let's talk about your rise to popularity and award-winning awards that brought you here to lovely Schenectady a short time ago to me.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm a Syracuse, New York native, so I feel like I should be used to the cold, but I say that every year, and every year I want a dusting of snow for the parade. I just don't want 17 inches. So I'm going to knock on wood as I said that, just because nobody wants a snowstorm for the parade. But I'm from Central New York, went to Oswego for college. Out of there, I actually went to live in Mass for about 6 months. Came back here, worked at the Cortland Standard down in Cortland, New York for a while. Won a New York State Associated Press and a Press Association Award. I believe those are the two.
And Nightly, yep.
Because they actually recently renamed one of them at one point. So I had 2 of those. Eventually decided I wanted something different. I wanted to move a little bit away from family, but not too far. Kind of have my own life and circle, and so that brought me to Schenectady. And I've covered almost all of our coverage areas at this point. For the main papers, I've pretty much covered everything from Schenectady County and City to Fulton and Montgomery counties, and then now the reporter out in Saratoga County, covering Saratoga Springs and particularly the southern portion of the county, and every once in a blue moon getting up to the northern portion. So
cool. Yeah.
Stan's been here a long time in the game.
Yes. Fortunate guy. Had a couple careers after college. A lot in retail. I tell people I've had all the worst jobs you can have. I've still some retail, a lot of restaurant, and then journalism. So my father was nothing but thrilled when I told him that. I called him, and at the time I was unemployed out of retail. I said, "Pop, I got a job in journalism." So you fast forward from when I was 12 years old, told my dad I wanted to be a reporter. My father looks across the table, and again, this is a long time ago, long before Shannon was thought of. And he goes, "You know what a journalist makes? What a reporter makes?" I said, "I don't know, Dad." He goes, $20 grand a year. At 12 years old, I'm like, I have a house, a tank, I'm set, right? 20 grand is $1 million. Fast forward to when I'm 28, if not older, somebody's age soon, I finally get a job in journalism after being laid off in retail, and I get a job as a part-time sports clerk at the Saratoga newspaper. I call my dad, I said, "Dad, I got a job." He goes, "Oh, great." He goes, I said, "I'm going to be a reporter. I'm going to be a sports reporter." He goes, "Oh, good, Stosh." I said, "Pop, guess what?" He goes, "What?" I still make 20 grand a year. So, again, it was it. I thank Barbara Lombardo, former managing editor at the Saratoga, for everything that I've had in my career now, which is almost 26 years, I think. Spent 22 years at the Saratogian, all in
Let me
sports.
just point out, Stan's been doing this job almost as long as I've been alive.
Yes. And that's why it's age before beauty. So 22 years, pretty much all the gyms, all the soccer fields, all the football fields across Section 2, sports. The opportunity came up to come down to the Gazette. I basically said no for almost a year, going back and forth after I was contacted and said, hey, there's an opening. And, I finally made the decision after all the turmoil that every newspaper seems to be going through and living through. And I came down to the Gazette, and I was here maybe half a day, and I called my wife and I said, I'm an idiot for not doing this a year earlier, because it's been absolutely wonderful. And I came down as a sports reporter. I was ready. And then the dark times hit, and everything changed for all of us. And I went from a sports writer to a feature writer to news to part-time photographer to digital to everything. So right now I'm on the digital team, so that means I'm doing everything I always did before.
So
but now
from
we have a title.
digital to MC.
Digital MC.
I can add that now.
I have MC'd before, so for my rowing peeps out there, I have been an auctioneer.
You've also done stuff at Proctor's, correct?
I was on stage for Proctor's. Yep.
This would be my first MC.
I flipped over the trophy twice on the stand. It was like ka-punk twice. 2 different opportunities to do it right. I screwed them out both. I think I'm back for next year.
Yeah, I've had no emceeing opportunities.
But you are calling this your Hoda moment, so I don't think you're going to be bashful, or this is the great. This is what.
Listen, I'm
this is taking you inside here.
If this works out.
We do the press conference where they're going to announce the second stage, and then Shen and I are going to be MCs. You've never seen Shannon quieter than she's sitting in the chair during the press conference, and you're like white. And you don't. Yeah. She's a pale complexion, but she is like white as a ghost, and I'm like laughing the entire time. And so she is like so nervous. So like I'm over here, I'm on the other side taking photos. So I text her and I go, "We're gonna high five when they announce us when we go up." And she's like there, and she looks over at me, and I'm like going, "Look at your phone." She looks at the phone. She sees we're going to do the high five. She goes, "All right." And then you crushed.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. There was a minute of a panic attack there. I don't know, because for some odd reason, I like public speaking to me, even though, I took public speaking all through high school and into college, actually with one of my high school friends' moms, so the class was great. It's still nerve-wracking. Like to get up there.
There's natural nerves. I was nervous before Proctor's, because that was a packed house.
And I mean, there was like maybe 20 people in that room with us, and like even then I was like, I couldn't imagine trying to do, but I think it makes it easier when you have such a great counterpart as like I do with Stan, is like we just play off of each other a lot, and we're able to, like I said, bring different perspectives to it, and we have a lot of fun, and it's just at the end of the day, it's just about having fun for the two of us, and I think that's what makes it so much better. And so I'm really looking forward to Saturday night. The other great part, and I know Stan's going to make fun of me for bringing it up, but Stan's birthday is on Thursday and mine is on Sunday, and we have a parade in between it all. And so that's a nice way for both of us to sort of get together and celebrate everything this year that we've accomplished and we've been through together, and all the craziness that we drive each other up a wall sometimes. Probably me.
So for those of you betting at home, we have not established the over-under at Rivers Casino of how many times Shannon will talk about her upcoming birthday during the parade's live stream on the Daily Gazette Facebook page. But we're debating on how high that number will be to make it a fair over for my counterpart, because it's gonna get mentioned.
Well, I think I gotta mention yours at least once. It might even break out in a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Yes, so I know, so for the parade, we know our duties include, at the moment, we have 40 participants, floats, bands, things. So we're going to be introducing each one as they come across. So that's going to be really cool. The ambassadors, I know the Saratogian, there's a package going together regarding the parade. We're working on some editorial stuff for the parade. We're doing this. We've done some fun spots. If you've seen them on our Facebook page, Daily Gazette, out there, and then also on our own personal, throwing them out there so people know. So like we're kind of doing this like, here's who we are versus being total strangers on Saturday. So hopefully this doesn't keep you away from that on Saturday. But we're live streaming on the Daily Gazette Facebook page. And then the main stage, which is Lydia Kolbita and somebody else I already forgot, I apologize, will be at the main stage. And that's where the bands and some of the different acts will stop and perform. So we've got part of our duty, and I think part of the reason why we got the ask from the Stan and Shen Show was, hey, you may have to fill like 20 minutes because people are going to go past you and then it's going to stop. Yeah. So we've got some fun stuff planned. We got some guests we're going to bring up. We're hoping to bring up. We're going to have an extra mic. We're talking about some of those people who are going to be coming up. Maybe somebody from the crowd. We do some trivia.
Yeah.
Sing along.
Possibly a sing along.
Possibly sing along. Shen's TikTok should be up any day now.
It's not the greatest. Folks.
It's great. It is great.
Me.
It is.
I can't carry a tune.
But that does not stop her. Does not stop her.
I just feel like, I don't know, so the holiday season is one of those times where I feel like you can't judge anybody for their singing because it's just supposed to be joyous and fun. And even if you're the absolute worst singer, what are you gonna do?
Well, that's we're not. Yeah, they didn't.
So I recommend
hire us for our
in.
singing chops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is definitely group karaoke. This is going to be.
Yeah, I think they mentioned previously possibly an a cappella group before we.
Which we're very excited about. Yeah. And then we're going to be up and down because I think we're starting. Parade goes off at 5. We're kicking off at least by 2:00, if not a little bit earlier. So we're going to be doing some Facebook Live stuff again. Showing you what's going on before, doing some live stuff on our Facebook page.
J Street, they'll have some
J
fun
Street,
things going
doing some
on
stuff
for
there.
Kids.
The band kicks off at 3.
Handing out free hot chocolate. Gotta shout that out because I'll be making a stop at that table. Gotta have your hot chocolate.
Yes.
It's not a
and we'll be talking about whatever our sustenance is going to be on the stage for that. Like I said, 40 floats, 2 bands. We're disappointed there's only 2 marching bands. There's a huge competition in Plymouth, Massachusetts that weekend, and a lot of the top bands from the area will not be here.
Also, just so happens that like Thanksgiving falls so late this year that it kind of
the latest it can.
Yeah,
you can't get any later than the 28th,
29th,
22nd, 29th,
that
28th.
Thursday.
That Thursday. You can't fall any later.
We know it's on a Thursday, everybody.
It's that. I can't
Clearly,
fall any
we're
later.
not numbers people.
And I'm excited.
No,
the weather looks pretty good. And if there's a highlight that we cannot wait for, that we've talked about, that we've done some promos for, it is that the Daily Gazette, as a tradition, does sponsor the final float of the evening.
The big man himself, Santa Claus.
The big man himself, with our favorite little people.
Yes.
Will be also in attendance.
Yes, some elves.
Some favorite elves.
Mrs. Claus.
We have,
of course, Newsy.
One of the greatest Mrs. Claus ever, probably to take the stage, and
he's
Newsy.
saying that because he knows her. So remember
Mrs.
that.
Mrs. Claus and I we're like this. We are like this. So we've known each other a long time, and Newsy's always a hit, and just you want to tell people what it's like to. Know about the Newsy experience?
Yeah, so I, the last couple years have actually participated in the Gazette's, float in the march, and it is an all-day experience for the Gazette. I mean, I think last year it took us almost an hour and a half to get through traffic just to get to the college, and then you're there all day because we're the very, very last.
Yep. The
float.
best for last.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And so, I mean, I know this year the Gazette's float is going to have a little bit extra to it. And it's
Thank you, Gary LaBelle.
Yes.
Shout out to Gary LaBelle.
A little bit, some extra music and stuff. So that'll be fun. And can't wait to see all the people who are participating this year with the Gazette. It's a little bit hard for me to not be walking in it because it's kind of become a tradition for me.
It's an experience. Last year was my first time really being a part of it, and from the walking standpoint, I did the parade route 3 times because I was at the start and then up to the parade, up to the stage and then down again, and then walked with our gang and was taking photo and video the whole time, and just the reaction that Newsy gets.
Oh yes,
because Newsy. Yeah. The big guy's up on top by the chimney, so the big guy's just doing the wave and love. Newsy's out with the people.
Yeah.
Which is
a lot of hugs. There's a lot of hugs and a lot of high fives along the way.
There's something that for those that I'm familiar with, the young ladies who have helped us out with Newsy and been a part of the Newsy experience. it's almost like therapy because you're adored.
Yes.
Adults and children just love a mascot, and Newsy looks wonderful in the costume. We're still trying to track it down. We don't know if the costume's 30 years old or 40 years old, but God bless the costumer because they're the ones who created it all that time ago, and it's held up well.
Yes.
And we love Newsy, and we'll may have some more Newsy news breaking or promoting beforehand, hopefully, possibly, if things come in line. But that's the reason to stick around. So we're going to get out of here because this has been too long. This was not supposed to be this long. But it's still shorter than the parade.
Just, one more shout out from the Gazette's end is this year is also a really special year for the Gazette. Not just because we're celebrating 130 years, but because the company is switching hands. And so it is my understanding that the owners, Betsy and Henry, I don't think,
Hume,
yes, Hume, I don't think Bill will be there, but Betsy and Henry, who have been part of the parade for a very long time, I'm not even sure how many years. They unfortunately missed it last year, and it looks like this may be the last year that they're here doing it, potentially.
We're having the family handoff from the Hume family to the DeAugustine family.
Yeah, so...
so that's something, we're celebrating 130 years as an institution. We're celebrating, the Hume legacy, and we look forward to the DeAugustine legacy that's going to be created over the next time period, and Shannon can see it through, and the little Shens can hopefully follow in those footsteps.
I don't know about little
Shens. Whatever way, shape, or form, as we change and digital's our life, as you can see from, what we're doing now on Facebook and the podcast and things like that. So Saturday, 5 p.m. we kick off.
South Ferry Street.
South Ferry Street.
That's
Put
the
an alert
place
out.
to be.
If you haven't already, follow the Daily Gazette on Facebook. All our stories are there. The links are there. Our photo galleries are there. We're doing a lot of things every day for you, and we're going to be doing a ton more on Saturday. So you get to catch Shannon and myself there, along with our early hits, along with the broadcast. So that's at least 90 minutes to 2 hours, however long it may be, and that's where we'll reside. And then
and don't forget selfies with Stan and Shen. There may be some gift giving
before the broadcast.
Yeah.
The broadcast, we're kind of on the stage, so we can't do a lot.
But if you see us take photos, if you're dressed up cool, we might stop you.
Yeah, we are.
Definitely
we are with
light
the people.
It up. So
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Our goal is to be lit on the.
I don't think that's what Gen Z is saying
on the
anymore,
National Grid stage.
Yeah.
First plug, Jace. We got that in. But we'll be on the National Grid stage there on South Ferry Street with the Gazette team, Stan and Shen.
Yeah, so the main stage gets 3-4 people deep some years. Let's do it throughout the parade.
Do it.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. What else are you doing on a Saturday night?
Hang out with Stan and Shen. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
And then there's a parade. So it's kind of like come for the parade, but stay for Stan and Shen. Yeah. And we'll see you Saturday early in the afternoon, and then 5 o'clock. Please must see TV-ish, Facebook Live-ish things. Yeah, this is what you get.
We're pretty sure it's the 53rd, 54th, maybe
I think it's the
55th.
I think it's the 55th.
We're going to double check that, but definitely at the Schenectady County
One of the notes we're going
Holiday
to get off
Parade.
of this podcast. And hopefully, for my birthday, and to celebrate Shannon's birthday, we won't be one and done with the Stan and Shen podcast.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Let us know if you want more.